In Delta State, the Okuama community is said to be mourning yet again following the reported death of its 81-year-old treasurer, Dennis Okugbaye, in military detention just days after the President-General Pa James Oghoroko died under similar circumstances. Though News Central Television cannot independently verify these claims, but it understood that both were among several leaders detained after the killing of 17 soldiers during a peace mission on March 14. The military's response left Okuama devastated, forcing residents into displacement camp. Protests have reignited, with aggrieved youths issuing a 7-day ultimatum demanding the release of the detained leaders and Pa Oghoroko's corpse. Human rights groups are calling for justice, urging President Tinubu to investigate the deaths and military reprisals, which they describe as violations of human rights and the rule of law. Let's get some perspective now. We're joined by legal practitioner and public affairs analyst, Tohwo Oseruvwoja. Tohwo, thank you very much for joining us. Members of this community are obviously angry and they are demanding justice over the deaths in military detention. What legal steps, if any, are there for them to take to get justice?
Well, if we recall the incident that happened in March 2024 in the Okuama community, you discover that it's a sad day. And it's something that every reasonable Nigerian needs to condemn, because the armed forces or the army, they are the symbol of strength against external forces. And if we ridicule them in that manner, or if they are treated in that manner, we are bringing ourselves down before external forces, be that as it may. Then secondly, we should also look at the response of the Nigerian military, which also need to be condemned, because in every aspect of life, there should be a laid-down law that governs every situation that happens. And the military as an institution is a law, should be, and is a law-abiding institution, which should be lived by example. So the legal remedy that is available to the community now is two things. One, the military does not have, they only have the general power of detention, which every civilian have. And that detention ought not to be with more than 24 hours. And they hand over such suspects to the police, who are basically responsible for internal security and prosecution of crime, prevention and prosecution of crime internally. Then two, the Nigerian army does not have the power or does not have the requisite skills to investigate issue of murder. Though the incident is condemnable, it's something that every Nigerians believe that the perpetrators, if found, if convicted, should be given the worst punishment. But the military does not have such power, because even in the military law and in the military proceeding, murder or killing is regarded as a civil matter. Civil matter in the sense that if the officer is found wanting, he will be court-martialed and handed to the civil court, where he will be tried under the criminal law. So I'm surprised that the military are still keeping them in custody. And I'm also surprised that the Minister of Justice has not deemed it fit to meet with the Minister of Defense to see how those people will be translated into the normal criminal procedure for them to...
There is something actually a bit worrying. As you were talking, I was thinking about the fact that when this incident occurred in March, there was a lot of noise, a lot of attention, but that seemed to have diminished. And when you talk about the Ministry of Justice and the need for action, don't you think perhaps this lack of push, adequate push, not just from the community, but from Nigerians, might impact the kind of response that we get from the Nigerian government to the deaths of the community leaders, and impact perhaps the way they will handle those responsible?
No, I think that should be an underrating of our government, and also the people assigned when it comes to issue of protecting life and property, and when it comes to issue of the criminal justice system. Because such a thing, let me tell you one thing, is not only is not only the victims in question, the soldiers that were killed. They are 19 in number. We are talking about a lieutenant colonel. We are talking about major. We are talking about captains. They were talking about soldiers. If you see the quantum amount of money Nigeria spent in taking care of them, this matter ought to get the needed attention. And as a matter of fact, if what is on now is what is going on, I think some people need to be sacked for not taking this matter seriously, because the family of the victims are looking forward for justice, the community is looking forward for justice, and Nigeria is also looking forward for justice. And if the process is not followed, if the process is not followed in line with law, I believe issues like this will occur again. I will pray never again should we record this. So I'm surprised, and I think that's why at this point in time, the media now need to come to the aid of not only the community alone, but the family of the soldiers that were killed, and also the military. Then they should also come into the aid of the Delta community as a whole. I believe the Delta senator, the senator representing Delta Central, which is Eddie Dapenune, has done a lot, because I saw his statement towards this matter. Then I believe the governor too need to do more in this regard to see that this issue is channeled and addressed properly in line with laid down laws in Nigeria.
Well, you and I both, and a whole lot of Nigerians. Thank you, as always, Tohwo, for giving us your time.
You're welcome.